We're learning Zil Nishmas Ahuva Basak Maseches Kelim Perek Yid Aleph Mishnah Zayin. Keren Agula Tameya Upshuta Tahira. A horn which is round is Tameh, and if it's straight, then it's Tahar. So the Rash explains that if it's round, if there's a curve, so then Yeshla base kibble, it has a base kibble, and therefore it will be Mekabel Tumah. However, if it's Pshutos, and then there's no base kibble, and then it's Tahar, Pshute of a keren has the halacha of pshute klietz and klietzem that we learned in the beginning of the second perek, that they are tar, and keren is learned out from the same pasuk as etzem, and therefore also it is tahar. The Rambam in Pirush and Mishnah learns over here that the keren we're talking about is not the keren of an animal, but rather chatzaitzos, and he holds that the nidin is Negeya Sugi and Shabush, which the Rash actually also brings, that if it's a Keren Agula, then the Gemara in Shabbos on Daf Mem Zayin Amud Aleph says that putting it back together on Shabbos, you'll be chayiv, that's a Maisa Uman. So the Rambam holds that that's Tali in our Mishnah also, that since it's something that's hard to put together, so then it has a shame Kli, and then it's Tameh. But the Pshuta, that it's easy to take apart and put together, so that's Tahar. So that's the Rambam in Pirush Mishnayis, and the Rambam in Hilchos Kelim, Perek Yud, Halacha Tezvav, goes with that Shita. There's a Ravid on there, and again a Reb Chaim on this. The Mishnah continues, Im Haisa, let's go out there, the Rash that we're talking about, the horn of an animal, Im Haisa Mitzupis Shalosh Amateches Tmeya. If the mouthpiece is metal, then it's Tameh. The Rash learns that it's coated with metal, and he goes L'Shitasai, that it creates Hamitzupa with matches is going to be tameh. However, the kav shala, where the noise goes out, the Rosh says the kav is the other end of the horn. Over there, it's a machlokes. Her Meir says mitame, v'tarfin mitame, v'chachamim mitaren. So, like the Rash, the reason is because it's a klietzem that's pshuta again that we said it's tahar. I'm not sure why Reb Tarfin was metame. B'shas chiburan hakol tame. While it's attached, so then since the mitzupis is metame, so if it's all attached to the mitzupis, so then it's all one big thing, and it's all going to be metame. Ki yotzi by the same halacha will be by kanei menorah, by the branches of a menorah, tahira. They're going to be tahar. The Rash and the Rosh both bring a miyad and sefri why the kanei menorah is tar. And however, the perech, which is the place that the ner goes into, v'habasis is the base by the reglayim of the menorah, by the stand, that's going to be tmeim because over there is a base kibble. B'shas chiburan, since the perech and the basas are tmeim, so if the kani menorah is attached to it, it's going to be now hakol tamei. The whole thing is tamei. Mishnah Ches starts off discussing with different armor. Kseda is the helmet. Tameya that the soldiers wore is tamei, because that has a shame kli. L'chayayim, but the part sticking down on the sides, which covered the cheeks, tahirin, that is tar. But im yesh lahem beis kibul mayim tameim. If you could use it to hold water, then it will be tamei, because then it has a base kibul. The Rosh explains the l'chayayim are tahar because ein shem kli aleim. They don't have a shem kli. So the part that covers the head has a shem kli. But the l'chayayim, the part that covers the cheeks, doesn't have a shem kli. So that's going to be tahar. The Rambam in Kelim Perek Tes Halacha Beis says that it doesn't have a shem b'fnei atzmai. Similar again to Mishnah Beis that says that kol kli mateches yesh l'shem b'fnei atzmai needs to have a shem b'fnei atzmai. It comes out that our Mishnah is saying clear that if it has a base kibble, then you don't need to have a shem b'fnei atzmai. We spoke that out in Mishnah Beis, because over here the Mishnah is saying the chayayim, even though it doesn't have a shem b'fnei atzmai tar, but if there's a base kibble, then it's going to become tamei. So that which we said in Mishnah Beis, you need to have a shem b'fnei atzmai, is dafka going by pshute kli matris, but base kibble, you don't say that klal. The Mishnah continues, kol kli ha-machama tameim, all kelim of the machama are tamei, akidain, V'anika in the spear and the shield, v'hamegefayim, v'hasirian, the boots and the rest of the malbish that was all metal. Tmeim, they all are kelim and they are metame. Kol tachshite nashim. Now we're moving on to woman's jewelry. They're all tameh. Ir shel zav, which was a crown that had the picture of Yerushalayim, the Tzur Yerushalayim on it. Katoliyos, which went around the neck. Nizamim, his earrings. Tabois, his rings. Bein sheyesh lahem chaysim, bein she'ein lahem chaysim. Whether there is a seal on the ring or not, because he used to use the ring as a stamp, and nizmeaf, and also nose rings. The Gemara in Shabbos on Daf Nun Tes Amud Beis brings a brisa very similar to our Mishnah that says that tachshitei nashim is bein sheyesh lehem chaysim, bein shelem chaysim, they're metame, and the Gemara says you see from here that it's considered a tachshit with a chaysim and without a chaysim. The Gemara asks from the Gemara over there, the Mishnah over there, that said that tabois, l'gabi hilchas Shabbos, if it had a chaysim, it wasn't considered a tachshit for nashim. The Gemara has 3 terutzim over there. The last teretz being Shabbos hatuma karamis, that hilchas tuma is totally on kli maisa Amar Rachmana, and over here it's considered a kli maisa whether there's a tabois, a chaysim or not a chaysim. The Mishnah ends off about the necklace, the katla, 2 cases. One is shechulya shalosh shemateches b'chut shel pishin shel tzemer. If the rings were metal, but the string was not metal, either flax or wool, and nifsek hachut, and the string snaps, so chulyas tmeis, because the chulyas were a kli b'fnei atzmai. The Rasha and the Rosh both say kol chad ba'apei nafshei choshev kli maisa. Each chulya is considered a kli maisa. And the Mishnah says that Shkolachas kli b'fnei atzmei. Hu adin, if you had a chut shel mateches, if the string was metal and the chulyas were avonim tovis and margolius v'shel zchuchas, so the chulyas over there wouldn't be metama. They're not a kli b'fnei atzmei. But the shtabra chulyas v'chut b'fnei atzmei, but the chutz is still here. Kayim, then it's tamei, then it'll be tamei out the string, because the string is metal. The Mishnah ends off, Shiari Ketala, let's say it breaks this necklace. So as long as you're left over with a Mali Tzaver Ketana, enough to put on a child, it would still be Metamer. Eliezer, he says even smaller, Afilu Tabas Achas, even if you're left with just ring, Tameo Bitame, one ring, Shekin Tailam Bitzaver, you could use it to hang on the neck. The Rash over here tries to figure out that last line of the Mishnah, which one of the prior 2 cases was it going in? Was it going on the string, on the chulyas being metal, or on the string being metal? Because manoshach l'chayra, if you're left with the string is metal. If you're left with the chulyas, each chulya b'fnei atzma is tamei. So where's the shear of kamali tzaver katana come from? Ayin, he blibes shver with the kasha, and the Rosh has a teretz, ayin sham.